So, welcome everybody to the second hour of Mind Shifters Radio. Today is Thursday, October 16th, 2025. Hello, Mr. Terry, and hello, Susan, and welcome, Michael.
Hi, Jeanie.
Hey.
I'm glad you read that article and didn't run away from ever wanting to talk to me again because
No, I think the person's right on. It's sad commentary, but I think it's true.
How's the book going?
It's good. Michael's got another project he's finishing up on, and then he's going to finish the forward. And the collection of support is going really well. I think I've got
Good.
like 26 people that have ordered a pre-printed signed copy or whatever.
Yeah, that's
So
great. Oh,
yeah,
good.
so going well. It's really close. I hope that it's out before Christmas.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
hoping to find a printer that will give us a reasonable price so we can print a quantity of books. One of the things that really helped my book to take off, in the self-publishing world, a self-published book, they consider 3,000 to 4,000 copies to be a bestseller. And why is this happening to me again? We did 80,000 copies back then. But the way we did it is I had it packed in boxes of 60 books, or at least one of the factors, and invited people who wanted to support us to buy a case and then give it out to friends. So that just really spread it and got the interest going and that sort of thing. So we're looking to see if we can find a publisher, a printer that will do something at a decent price to give us that capacity to at least have a reasonable number of cases that those who have friends and want to support it can get it out there on the next level.
And then after Book Baby puts it out, it'll be print to order. So if people order a actual printed book, they print them on demand and send them. So we just need to have enough to cover the signed copies and things like that. And then the rest will be print on demand. And then, of course, it'll be on Kindle and things
Jeanie,
like that.
you've totally finished it now, right?
I'm finished with it. Yeah, I'm just waiting on Michael's forward.
Great. Aren't you tempted to go back and tweak all the time?
Well, actually, I've gone back through it several times. There was one thing that I did was I used chat to check my grammar and my spelling and punctuation and things like that. Not that it changed what I wrote, but that it checked for errors.
Wonderful.
And so I went through every chapter and did that. So it's pretty polished right now.
Great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Rock and roll. It's going to be the first written record of the nitty gritty, get down and dirty into the work of Yeshua. The stuff that, the disciples of the left said, too hard of saying, who can hear it? I'm out of here. So
it is
there's no written record on the planet of that. It is. Yeah. It's with the way we've been brainwashed, it's tough to even hear. However, I think this is going to be a pathway, and as I say, I think it's the first written record of really getting into the gritty stuff and doing it.
Great.
And so it's going to give a model to people to follow and understand on a whole other level than, my book was a character who we did some processing with, but Jeanie is going like for the gut.
Where's Jeanie?
Yeah, I was, concerned at first, that because it's exposure. I mean, it's putting my story out there to, I had told Mom about it. I had her read a couple chapters, and she was funny because one chapter I talked about how I grew up not thinking I was as loved as my older brother and, all of that. And she's like, well, you've got the dates and things right, but she said, I can't do anything about how you felt. But
having your mother read it, that's a big deal.
Yeah. And so, putting it out there, and anybody who knows my history will know who the abuser was, even though I don't mention him by name. And hopefully it will give other people, a encouragement to be brave to, face the things they went through and let go of the guilt and the blame and things like that.
It's amazing. Hmm.
Yes.
Good work.
And I talked to Terry this morning, and Terry had a kind of an interesting insight and variation on the theme. And Terry, do you want to share what you came up with this morning?
Yeah, things were really moving, and I could feel, another layer coming up on all that kind of stuff. My power person dynamics of panic and wanting to avoid and all this kind of stuff. So I set myself down. I've established a pretty strong routine in the mornings, and so I need to do my worksheets. I got a commitment of a minimum of 4 a day. I can do more, but a minimum 4. And so
Right.
as I was going through the first, second, third, and then the fourth one, I had actually gotten up. I was so uncomfortable. I was moving around and standing at the counter in the kitchen, and it was my thoughts. It's like, oh, my thoughts are the object of my attention. They're driving me crazy. So I put my thoughts.
That old blame game.
Yeah, the blame game. And it's like, oh man, I can see it. It's like, and then the thoughts, and then the goal was, I wanted my thoughts to uh, make me feel better. I was trying to figure it out. So the goal was, through having the thoughts, was to find the answer, the pseudo solution. So I was stuck in the uh, uh, on the hamster wheel and on the rat maze. And then once I got it down on paper, it just all changed, shifted. And then I completed that when I went and laid down, did a really nice breath session.
Sweet. Yeah, the number of variations on the theme, and that's one I hadn't thought of before. That was cool, just the way you said it. Oh, my thoughts to fix it for me, and that variation on the theme of if I could just figure this out.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was hidden in plain sight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, anything else exciting happening for you?
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff happening. Give me about a minute though. I need to wrap up with Keela. She's taking off from the
Okay.
job here, and then I have
Okay.
something I want to put out.
Okay. Well, just put your hand up when you want to come back. Cool. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you, Michael.
And hey, and do you have anything to share with us? Any thoughts? Anything we can support you with?
I can't think of anything right now. It's been a while since I've listened in because I had a lot of problems with Needle, and then I didn't realize that you were doing this on Zoom until a couple of days ago. So,
Well, I'm glad you caught up with us.
yeah, thank you. I've been listening to the Enlightenment study. I'm only on day 7 so far.
Yeah, that's a powerful place for building brain cells, for getting a new look at. And there's a show that I didn't remember. I'll have to look. I'll get Jeanie to take a look, and we'll text you a link to it, where it talked about how basically the original teachings of Yeshua were degraded. How they came out of the Aramaic and went through the Greek and went through the Latin and went through the Old English, and how each of those degraded on the level. That'll go hand in hand with the Enlightenment study, I think. So we'll get that to you.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Sweet. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Let's see. Who's 904-471?
It's Dusty.
Oh, that's Dusty. Oh, we haven't heard Dusty's voice in a while. Anything to share with us, Dusty? Anything exciting happening in your world? There he is. Oh, Dusty's got his hand up. Oh, go for it. Hey, sir. Welcome. You just hit that mute button, *6. There you go. We got you.
Well, if
Technology.
you hold the phone upside down, a 6 looks just like a 9, so.
Okay.
Or
How
maybe
you
it was
be,
me
sir?
that was upside down.
Well, you
One or
never
the
know.
other. Yeah, you never know. Well, I'm going through a morning process, just kind of getting myself, I say morning process, getting myself ready to, I need to go get in the ocean, put on my fins and go out to sea, but the wind's howling, so I haven't decided. And I've got so many projects here at the house that I'm overwhelmed anyway here. So, but no, I've been listening to your program, kind of hit or miss. And every now and then I hear something that, I definitely have something to put in, but whoever you're talking with, you're doing just great. And so I just let it be. And, but I'm grateful. I think that's the big word for right now. Grateful. To still be breathing and at least semi-conscious and able to have a life, and draw closer to the one.
Pretty awesome, isn't it?
God. It is. And I, by the way, I use the word Allah a lot now. I like that.
Right.
And it doesn't seem to offend anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody gets upset on that one. And so, and the only other thing was when I loved the program with Patrick and you were talking about structural stuff and antenna stuff, and I had to go a little early, and I think you mentioned it. But that whole piezoelectric thing that goes on in the bones and the DNA and the pineal gland, not right now, but I'd like to address that at some point if you want to hear it on your program.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he mentioned some of the stuff that he'd done with you, so that would be cool to hear about when you're ready to share it.
Yeah, that's great. And but mostly I'm just glad you're alive and everybody that's listening. Yay. Gratitude time, folks. And I don't have any more than that right now.
Well, that sounds like plenty, and we appreciate you extending love in your direction.
Man.
Appreciate
hey, thanks.
getting to share the planet with you for these last 5 decades.
No kidding. And it's boy, hasn't it been a ride? I love it. And I rearranged a song one time that ended with oh, never mind. In my head, I'd have to start at the beginning of the song. So never mind. We'll do that another time. But God bless you and everybody listening.
All right. Great. Nice to hear your voice, Dusty.
Later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Be safe out at sea.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's where I'm the safest.
Well, some of these stormy conditions.
That's okay. I love stormy conditions. I'll go down to the beach. I'll be the only one there. Maybe, as far as I can see, maybe half a dozen people or something, and then nobody's in the water because you can't get a board out and if it's really stormy with lots of white water. But with the fins, I do the dolphin. I just become like a dolphin, and it's
go under it.
I go under. Yeah, I go under. It's all about. And you know what's really nice about the ocean in that sense? It's her rules. It's not the cultural miasm or any of that other stuff. It's elemental. It's her rules. I go out there and I can't impose my will. I have to follow yeah, and I have to know how to do that well and have the right equipment, of course. But it's all about, it's her dance, and the whole thing turns out to be a dance for me. So,
yeah,
and
it sounds like It sounds like surrendering to the dance is key, and that's so important in anything we interact with, is that surrender to the energy.
Oh yeah, and in this case, it's it's imperative, and then just kind of knowing and feeling the pull and the push and the this and that, and it's 800 times denser. So it's like on a whole other planet. I'll go out there, way out to sea, and we're made wherever the waves are the biggest and the smoothest, and if there are any smooth. And I'm out there and I go, oh my God, what planet am I on? You know, it's so different. And then when I come back to land, I've got to adjust the sailors that would go to sea. And when I went to sea, it was the same thing. It was, you'd have to get your land legs again.
Right.
Yeah. And
surrender
so I stand there for
energy.
Yeah, exactly. Like gravity and the way the body needs to hold it. And I always defer back to the Aikido basic principles, and has saved my life. And in so many ways. And but it's a joy. And thank you for thinking about that in the ocean.
No, I'm glad it saved you so that we get to hang out. So appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I just love to. I got an extra pair of fins. I'd love to drag you out there someday in a nicer day. I'd never let you go down, ever.
Yeah, it would probably have to be a nicer day.
Yeah.
I used to live on the beach in the east coast of Florida, and I was in the water all the time. I actually, I had a practice at that time. I lived in Delray Beach, and I had a practice. And I actually worked with people on the beach. We would do our sessions on the beach. And then when they were ready to breathe, I'd take them in the water. I'd lay them prone in the water and have my hands just under the base, the base of the cranium. And just like you'd pull something, around in the water, I would just float them in the water with that, which meant their whole body was just like a tadpole, sort of waving back and forth. And the energy, the alignment, the adjustment would just go through the whole system. And when they'd hit a still point, invariably, there'd be a flock of pelicans that would dive bomb us, or a manta ray would come up, that I could literally, if I took my hand off of their head, I could have reached out and touched the manta ray one time. It's like the animals were just pulled into that energy. So that was a pretty sweet time. That I guess I was there about 2 years, and that was pretty amazing.
It's nothing like when they come up and acknowledge in some way that your nature, Ruka acknowledges. Because I think that's brilliant. If you had your hand like under their occiput and then let the current kind of pull their body the other way and squish them around or move them around a bit.
Yeah, I'd stay mobile. I'd be walking backward, holding them like that, and I would just continuously walk backward and sort of wave them from the occiput. And so the whole spine, the whole body would just go through these gyrations. And
that's brilliant, my friend. And because I was thinking in terms of waves, and you could stand in one spot, but if there's not much for waves, you have to move yourself. And that's nice.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
You know where Indian Rocks Beach is, up in like Sarasota area? Years ago, I think if you look on a map, it sticks out further into the Gulf than any place on that coast, I think. I'd have to look, but I think so. But there was 5 of us on the most magic sundown ever, and we were at Indian Rocks, maybe 30 some feet from the water's edge, and we had a particular beat going, and we were in sync. And it was one of those sundowns that was so magical, so powerful that it was just energizing everything. And dolphins started swimming up. And I mean, I don't know how many were out there, but at least 3 or 4 actually beached themselves, from the top part of their body. They could get out, and with big, wide-eyed were listening to us. And,
That's pretty
and
cool.
we were right there. And I remember the beat. I do it all the time. I call it the dolphin dance or the dolphin beat. And I don't know if it'll ever work again, you're calling dolphins, but it's a good beat anyway. So,
Cool.
but that was an acknowledgement of epic proportions because, I mean, when they come up and beach, the top quarter or third of their bodies on the sand and listen, and we're less than 30 feet away at that point. It's just,
Yeah, it would be magical.
Yeah, it was, my friend. So I can understand what you're talking about. Over here, it's ospreys. Ospreys carry the grandeur, the glory. When I see an osprey, that will often fly right over me at auspicious times. And they're kind of well, not just to me, but they're a bit of a holy bird. They carry this grandeur like most raptors do, but they certainly do.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, for me on the East Coast, it was pelicans. And actually, we were in Miami doing it. Let's see, was that Miami? Where was it? We did
Down
that.
that way.
No. It was actually on Oak Island, and Jeanie was working with a group of women, and they did a fire ceremony and let go of their writings in the water, and a flock of pelicans just came right in on top of them. So they're
nice.
definitely tuned in.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's it reminds me of another image. Once a year in the Hindu religion, a lot of people go to what's northwest of Nepal, just a little bit, Mount Kailas, in the Kailash range, and
right.
It's considered it's considered the manifestation of the mythical Mount Meru. In other words, it's the Axis Mundi for them, with Shiva on top of it. Their Christ being, you could say, Shiva on top of this mountain. And it's an honor, a privilege, and an amazing grace for them to be able to circumnavigate this mountain, because it starts at 15,500 feet and goes up, and it's a 3-day trek. And this isn't just circling a building with a bunch of other people. This is 3 days, and I mean it's something. And then when they're done, there's this sense of powerful grace for them. But what your image with Jeanie brought up to me was what they would do is they would write a prayer on a flag, one of those little prayer flags that are real light.
Right.
And if they do it in the right spot, the wind would carry it up towards the top of the mountain.
Pick it up.
Yeah, and so that was considered, sort of the same thing. And I think that's neat that Jeanie had all those gals put. Was it prayers, or was it a release thing?
It was a release ceremony that she did. She was doing a Women Healing Women Intensive, and they did a ceremony of release. Wrote down things they were ready to release. They had a fire ceremony with it, and then let it go in the ocean. And at the point where they let it go in the ocean, the pelicans stopped on them.
That's beautiful. I think. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that the more melding we do with our the truth of our being, or whatever, our growth, or whatever we're involved with, if we are involved, that connected with the power of nature, it blesses nature while nature blesses us back. And
Yes.
for instance, I think in not Khan or something, I can't remember how to say his name, but he talked about walking on the earth. And he said, every time you take a step, like if you're barefoot on the earth, kiss the earth. Love her. Kiss the earth. Kiss the earth. And I took that to heart. And I try to practice it. And one time I was doing that, and I really felt like I was connecting. And all of a sudden it was like the earth was loving me back.
Mm.
It was just like that. Because I do consider that the earth is a living being, Gaia as a whole, by any name.
Yes.
Can't be much anything else. And it's always interesting how the astronauts from outer space, they look at the earth and they go, oh my God, it's alive.
Yeah.
It's alive. And
Cool.
what an epiphany that must be, if you're not used to that. Yeah.
For sure.
And so the only other thing I was going to say, when I go out in the ocean, because you talked about the ritual of her letting go of the pieces of paper in the ocean, and I find that so fine. I always go, at some point when I'm out in the ocean, I do what I call flipsy doodles, and where I'll do typically backwards somersaults into the water. I mean, I love it under there anyway. And for releasing things for myself and from other people or whatever. And, and then I do forward things. I've even got a song that goes with the forward things. And it's just, it's sort of church in a sense to me,
Right.
Yeah. And what a cathedral, huh?
Yep. Quite a cathedral.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's sacred. Well, listen, I'll let you go talk to somebody who's got something to say, and it's great you guys are still on the air. I'm loving it.
We're rocking. Thanks, Dusty.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, Terry, are you back with us?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So what was on your mind?
Let me get to my little note. So I was thinking about this eternal life and us as an energy structure, and what it feels like, or I experience when I'm in a breath session and I'm hitting that really sweet spot. It feels like I am just connected to the cosmic whole energy, of everything,
Right.
and that is, and watching my mom when she was making her transition, and one other person I got to be close to also during that event was they naturally go into a still point. It looks like breathing, they're breathing, their eyes are closed, and for a long time, for this thing, 2 or 3 days, 4 days off and on. So, and then at the end, lots and lots of more time in that space than in the moving about kind of space here. So, and also in connection with that, Bernard Kastrup's analogy of the pear tree, and how the pear tree is a pear tree, and it produces a pear fruit, and it doesn't say, oh, I think I'll produce an apple today, peach tomorrow. That there's order in that process. And
Right.
some of the pears drop off and they rot. Some of them are eaten, and some of them, take root and grow another pear tree. And humans are kind of like that. You know, some of them develop into this beautiful image of a human. Some of them are a little bit rough and scraggly, and that kind of thing. So it's thinking along that line, and witnessing Mom's process and feeling my process. It seems like there's more of an understanding that that's our eternal state, and that, as opposed to longer time on Earth. Not saying that that's not possible or whatever, but is there really a scenario where we're living, forever on the earthly plane, or would it even be? And this is just a big, philosophical question kind of thing. But it seems, and it answers some of the questions about just life and what are we doing here, where are we going, where we're headed, and to feel that it's like I feel like, oh, okay, I see where I'm going next whenever this is done. In the meantime, here's how we get the most out of this life while we're here through this process that you've been teaching us for so many years. What do you think about that?
Well, my take is that, well, first of all, you trigger in me the memory of, probably 40 years ago, I went to a medical conference, and there was a group from Cincinnati, Ohio called the DeCourcy Clinic, and they had done research on aging. And I heard this quote once from the stage. They presented this quote, and I've never forgotten it. It burned into my brain. Here's what the upshot was of their medical research on aging. Quote, "Time is not toxic. Time has no effect on human tissues under any conditions. It is a belief in the effect of time by those who subscribe to such a belief that acts as a poison." So we've been trained that time is supposed to destroy us, at least our physiology. And if we buy into that mind energy, because mind energy becomes flesh, it happens. My thesis is, what if we were to reverse that? We have records of a time, you look in the scriptures where people were living 1,000 years. Why have we degraded? What happened? And if you tolerate no energy other than the energy that you're designed to have fuel your physiology, love, then why would there be any degradation? And, I come at it from my original, years ago, my physics training. In the world of physics, what we know is energy is eternal. It can neither be created nor destroyed. Its form can be changed. The seed falls in the ground and gathers all these energies, and it creates another pear tree. But what if we lived in a way that we maintained, when they said to Yeshua, what's most important in the law, and the law not being the rule of a superior, but the way it works, what's most important? He said, have Rachna, have this gateway open, have this uplink connected, where human life, love, flows through your cellular structure continuously, and protects your mind from hostility and fear. If there is no degrading energy tolerated by us, and notice what we do with our kids is we teach them to tolerate degrading energy. We even give it to them, give them some of ours. What if we reversed that and said no to that? Why would we not go on living in health and youthfulness? Now, I can say, I look in the mirror and I can go, yep, I can tell I've been around the sun a few times. And there's some degradation going on. Have to acknowledge that, have to admit it. And at the same time, if I look at where I started and the fact that 3 or 4 times the first year of my life I was almost dead and used to live in the end part of every summer in an oxygen tent and drugs and an inhalator, and haven't had a drug in my body in over half a century, and I'm healthier now than I was then, why would I do anything other than go on living in health and youthfulness? The only reason would be because I'm unwilling to confront the generational patterns that have killed every person in my generations in the past. So my suggestion to everyone, if this makes any sense to you, now I might be totally I might be totally completely in error. But here's my guarantee. If I'm in error and you follow what I'm saying, it won't hurt you. If I'm right and you don't follow it, it'll kill you. So, like, what's the downside of, okay, I'm going to clean up, I'm going to face everything, every inclination, every energy that even the slightest hostility or fear, I'm going to breathe into it, I'm going to forgive it, I'm going to vitalize myself with this presence of active love. I've been sharing over the last, since I did my own quantum still point back about 10 months ago now, I've been sharing some of the mileposts that I've had in this morning's still point work. I went into a pulsing in my hands and feet that were like somebody had an all-encompassing jackhammer that went around my whole hand and arm and just was pounding away. The pulsing was so strong. And what I'm learning is that where that pulsing comes in is where there's been a block of energy, and it opens the block and opens the free flow. So trusting the breath, stepping into the breath. And when Dusty was talking about the folks climbing this mountain, what I heard him talking about was, that it's a symbol of people going up into their own corpus callosum, climbing that mountain, clearing the space for that uplink, Rachma, to truly plug in and have that fuel our physiology. And to even consider plugging that uplink in, like energetically, physiologically, energetically, where it's located in the brain, you can't get in there carrying hostility or fear. It's such a subtle space. It's like one of the most subtle spaces I've ever tasted. And I realized that if there was the slightest activity of hostility or fear, I could not hold awareness of this. And to me, that's the ultimate, at least at this stage and at this level, for me, the ultimate goal of doing this work. For each one to free themselves of the thing that bars the door to the Holy of Holies, allows us to go in and literally plug in. And at that point, you've got an energy system plugged into its source. Why would anything happen to it other than just rock on? Unless our minds have other ideas, we're going to rage ourselves to death over what somebody did out there, or, grief ourselves to death, or fear ourselves to death, whatever. So the invitation I'd suggest everybody consider is ask Ruka to show you and allow you to teach you how to process every vibratory frequency that has ever killed anybody in your bloodline, ever, in all of your history. To bring it forward, the presence of love, breathe, and teach you to process through it and let go of it. And I think when we get a critical mass of people doing that, we're going to find out what human life's really for and what it's really about. And it's not about, who's the poet that said this loveless toil? It's not about that. It's not about most men live lives of quiet desperation. They go from the desperate city to the desperate country and satisfy themselves with the killing of muskrats. Got to kill something to feel powerful because they've so trashed their own energy systems with hostility and fear and unresolved grief and rage and trauma that you have to have something to do violence to in order to feel, in order to get the sensation of being alive. Because the subtle presence of life, of joy, of aliveness has been overwritten with trauma. So there are my thoughts on what you shared. What's that resonate for you?
It's resonating in harmony, and it's like, okay, we're not gonna figure this out. Something it's like you just got to let it unfold and experience it. And I'm willing to experience the active presence of love and healing this body and everybody walking around this planet. And at the same time, there's just the thoughts are that, you're experiencing that, touching that, and getting into that when you reach these high, they're just real clean, clear, beautiful spaces in that breath session.
Human life.
Just, humming along. And so that, I think, is what I feel like. It feels like that's what I move into when I let go of this this structure. It's not even a body. It's just an energy arrangement. When this energy pattern has been complete, or the equation, or get to the end of the equation and all, then we just, we step back into that. We don't even step. We just are that. It's just natural. It's like, oh, hell yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm able to perceive it, and that it's really comforting in that there's no fear of like death in that. Oh, I'm dying. The body's dying. That's not even the thought. It's like, oh, it's a transitional phase or occurrence or event where you transition from this energy pattern into that higher energy pattern. And I don't know exactly what it's all like because I haven't gone all the way, through that veil, as it's sometimes called. And we may move right into another, even more beautiful world. It's like what's waiting on us is just going to be a grand surprise. And I do like to think that when watching mom breathe and breathe and breathe, that she was able to let go of all that carbon-based crap that she had carried around and transition, into that loving, beautiful self of hers, and awareness of that self that she was always had and always was. Either way, it's a win.
Yeah, either way, it's a win.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that we were put in a garden and then we pooped in the garden, we should clean up our poop before we leave if we're going to leave.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to clean it up as best we can.
That's
We're
it.
going to invite everyone to help us clean and see what we can do. Because right now, man, is it really necessary for all this suffering? I don't think so. It's like, I don't think it's a requirement for any reason, other than we just got off a track there. Unless, especially when you look at your grandchildren, I know like you have yours and mine and our children, and what they go through, and the thoughts of the next generations, just like, it could be a lot more pleasant for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, joining you in doing that, my friend.
That's what we're doing.
Yes. Any other thoughts?
No, to me, this is the fun stuff. It's all fun. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. Well,
I'll
let's
have
see if
some more
anyone else.
later. Yeah.
Go ahead. Dusty just,
I'm sorry, let me get up here. I'm sorry, I said I'll have
Yeah.
some more thoughts.
cool. Dusty just put his hand up, so he's got some thoughts to share with us. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things in fact, to me, it may be as major as it is as major as anything that you bring forth is that you have to deal with your stuff if you want to get beyond the stuff. And in a way, you and I were fortunate that we did have trauma early on, because then we knew there was something to work on or with or through. And I, just about everybody I know does not want to face what's uncomfortable in them. I've had friends that I used to do music with who I would say, you know, you've got Alzheimer's in your genetic makeup, and one of them's and the couple of them are already gone. I said, if you would do just this one breathing thing, it will help you get through that. And they won't do it because, oh, well, that's uncomfortable. Or
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that emotion because it's uncomfortable. Well, folks, it was uncomfortable going in. And so get it out, like pulling a splinter, then you can heal. And I was asked how I even survived past that impact 20 some years ago. And you just can't give up. You got to constantly face it and go through it. And those are the warriors, as far as I'm concerned. Those are the life or spiritual warriors that will go after that. And I hear you promoting that, and that thing with Jeanie with the, you know, the pelicans and all that sort of thing. That's part of what I do when I meditate in the evening. Is I'll go back as far as I can in my dad and my mother's genealogy, you know, doing prayers of grace, sending love, whatever, my own way, or the best way I know how, all the way through to present time. And hope I've cleaned all that up, as well as for me, because I do remember, and I will say it, some past life stuff, as well as the genetic and environmental stuff, which of course is, you can remember if you want to. And anybody that does that, boy, you get gold stars by your name somewhere for effort to go into your stuff and look the tiger in the eye.
It's definitely required.
Yeah, and you say that on your show, and I hear this gentleman talking about it, and it does my heart good to know there are people that are really doing that these days, not just caught up in the cultural miasma, but truly
Right.
clearing. And so, anyways, I just wanted to shout out a kudos and a little support for that process that you bring forth.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, sir. I'm with you, 2,000%. Anyone else have any thoughts in that direction? How's this conversation impacting everybody? Fitting, making sense, inspire you, throw you off? What's on your mind? What's your thought? Oh, we've only got about 10 minutes left, so I don't want to go on to another topic. So let's have a hand up. What are you thinking?
Celinda's unmuted.
Oh, cool. Hey, Celinda.
Hello, Michael and Jeanie.
Hey,
I've been following the conversation, and I would just say yes and. Go right through the middle between the two. I love your comments about, well, if I'm incorrect, it doesn't matter. I haven't harmed anybody, and if I am correct, woo, look what a service that I have been able to give them and myself. And also the other perspective is just another perspective. It's another side of the mountain. Maybe the person hasn't finished their soul growth yet, and they feel like they need to come back, or they had certain genetic challenges that they weren't able to overcome, and say, I did the very best I can this time around. So, and I like that idea of parallel universes anyway. I think I touched on that the other day. How do we know these lives are serial? What if they're just different doors in the mansions of the Creator? And which one are we putting our attention on at the moment? And therefore, which one are we opening? So anyway, I thought that was an interesting thought. And yeah, I acknowledge the possibility of all of the above, and I'm actively entertaining them all. So
sweet.
It's all good.
Joining you in it.
For me, it's all good. I love walking the middle path. It's so reflective. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Thank you for all you and Jeannie share.
Honored, delighted. Thank you for being part of it.
We're all one after all.
There you go.
It's just
All right.
just realizing it. That's our only task. And then extending it to self and other. I'm working on it, sir.
Joining you in it. Holding the space. Terry.
Okay.
Okay, I got another one to add here.
Go for it.
I picked back up a few weeks ago the mind goal management sheet, and
Right.
on there it says I give myself 5 minutes for inspirational reading, 5 minutes for connected breathing. Check those boxes. So I thought, well, what better book than Why Is This Happening to Me Again could I pick for inspirational reading? I said, nope, that's the one. So I picked up the Why Again book. I was using it for my inspirational reading, the 5 minutes, And what I did first of all was to just open it randomly, see what came up, and that was kind of fun for a little bit. And then I started yesterday. I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna just start back at the beginning, because this would be number 14 for my times through the book. Okay, I can't imagine how many times you thought. Of course, you conceived it. So, but and I was reading that Redfield introduction, and he even makes a note. There's a little note in there about, oh, this will be one that you could use over and over. He meant that would be it's more like a textbook, and that's what they say about the AA book and the other books. It's like, this is a textbook that you study and you experience your growth through how you're able to grow in your understanding and perception. So I'm enjoying that my 14th round here, and I'm using that as my daily reflection with in conjunction with the mind goal management sheet, and it feels really just like reconnecting with an old friend, and it sets a nice rhythm and tone. And I remember when I first read that introduction after your workshop, when I first met you, and I was like, red pill, oh wait a minute, no wonder. And so because I had picked up his book a few years earlier. And so I got it back out, went back through it. So, oh, sure, this guy's borrowing off of these ideas and these concepts, and I thought that is so cool. I think,
And Celestine prophecy, the whole idea of the Aramaic came from this work. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he was in Birmingham and he used to come to the classes in Birmingham.
It came from you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then you got the biggest acknowledgement from him. It was like a sentence and a half or two, and out of everyone that he acknowledged, and also that was another piece that just really tied it in for me. So that's good. I wanted to share the joy.
Sweet. Pretty awesome. And I think back to, you know, it took me, what Jeanie was saying the other day, took her 11 years to write her book. She beat me by 4 years. It took me 15 to write Why Is This Happening to Me Again?
9 years.
9 years old. Excuse me, sweetie. I thought you said it was 11. So it took me 15. So she was way ahead of me. In any event, I don't know, Terry, if you know, and I don't think you were around the show, but about, I'm not even sure, a year or so ago, 2 years ago, we spent a whole year covering the book. We went through the whole thing, read every word of the book with commentary and all. So if you haven't taken advantage of that, you might want to look that up and see what listening to the book does for you.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. And so, Linda, you have another thought for us? I see you still have your hand up, young lady.
No, I'm good. I muted my mute button, but I guess it didn't go off. The *6 didn't go.
Okay. Oops, excuse me. I just went and I accidentally muted you. My apology in the middle of your sentence. But okay, I'll assume you were finished. So you got about 2 minutes. Anyone else got a thought for us? All you silent folks out there? Glad you're here with listening ears. Taking the energy of every thought, every word to your area of the world. And of course, everywhere in between your mind and mine is impacted energetically. You know, this, for me, the beauty of understanding that there's nothing in the so-called physical world that is dense enough to stop the high energy wave that leaves the mind when we think a thought. It's a powerful idea. And recognizing the impact we can have, especially recognizing that the higher the vibration of the thought, the more powerful and penetrating the energy is. The lower does tend to be blunted by interaction with other energies, where the higher frequency just passes through it all. So joining you each in holding to the space of the breath of Rukadakudja flowing through every cell in your body, bringing to every cell in your structure the presence of your human life, love, and then extending it to all the world. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.